Welcome to the Clarion and welcome to the 66th Annual Old Timers Baseball Association Banquet. Featuring this year, of course, Mr. Scott Fletcher, and last year's host, which of course was Denny McClain. Let's hear it for them. I'm Scott Slogan from WJML Radio. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it. If you could please welcome the Stone City VFW Post 2199 Color Guard as they will be presenting colors for tonight. So ladies and gentlemen, please stand and welcome the Stone City Post VFW Color Guard. And they will be presenting just to the left of the podium, so if you can please make a hole. Thank you. Singing the national anthem tonight is Rita Matichek.
Thank you. Please join me in singing our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Rita. Now, we'd like to welcome the Most Reverend Michael Lane, pastor, St. Jude's Church of Joliet, for tonight's invocation. Pastor, please stay. You may sit.
Okay. Go ahead and be seated. And thank you for the promotion. Okay. The Most Reverend's the mission. Anyone in baseball especially is certainly no stranger to prayer. So let us bow our heads and we'll begin. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Lord God, you have promised us that as we gather together in your holy name, you are here with us. We ask you by your presence to continue to increase the joy, the spirit of camaraderie that we share this evening. Pour your blessings down upon this food that we share, that it give us strength to accomplish all that you desire of each of us. We ask this through Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay.
Thank you, Reverend Lane. Well, on behalf of Dick Goss, the president of the Old Timers Baseball Association, enjoy dinner. We'll be back with the main program coming up in just a little bit. You guys ready to talk a little baseball, right? I guess. You guys should be more excited than that. The White Sox had a great offseason, didn't they? Yeah. The Cubs had another great offseason, right? Come on, you gotta like it. Number one ranked minor league franchise in the big leagues, and no bleachers for opening day. One step forward, two steps back, I guess, right? Yeah, exactly. Right field's out. Thanks, Jim. That's good. First and foremost, I know since the last time we were here, this facility has new ownership and new management and a new staff. It's now called the Clarion. Great service, better than ever before, so let's give the Clarion staff a wonderful round of applause. Thanks, guys. The Old Timers deals with a lot of great people, but they also have a lot of great sponsors who make tonight possible. Please hold your applause. We'd like to thank our corporate sponsors tonight: D Construction, First Community Bank, Illinois Licensed Beverage Association, Will and Grundy Counties, Jim Sefcik, KSKJ Life, Lakeshore Beverages Budweiser, Mickey's Oil, Mickey's Tire and Service Center, Northern Illinois Steel, P.T. Farrell Construction Company, and TZAC's Home to Celebrate Life. Let's thank all of them, please, with a round of applause. And in your program as well, this wonderful program, you'll see all kinds of patron boosters. Please acknowledge them and support the boosters. They will welcome your business. So look in your program. There are too numerous to mention, but we want to thank them as well. And we heard a yay earlier, but thanks to Lakeshore Beverage Budweiser, that's the it's the same old Budweiser distributorship here in Joliet, just with a new corporate name. So let's give Lakeshore Beverage a round of applause. And thanks to all the businesses who donated silent auction items and raffle prizes. Again, they're in your book as well. All right, well, we would like to bring up a gentleman who's very busy, but still found it in his schedule today. He was with me earlier this morning when we dedicated a plaque at our WJOL studios to the late Don Lattis. By the way, if you want to see the dedication ceremony, you can go to WJOLTV.com. Don's family was there, and we had some local dignitaries there as well. It's a really nice 15-minute presentation if you'd like to see it. But to kick things off tonight, let's bring up the mayor of the city of Joliet, Mr. Tom Girardi.
Thank you, Scott. A couple nights ago, I went into my office at home to sit down and write something. And my wife walked in, she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to write a speech for the old timers." She says, "Those people aren't going there to listen to you." And after 53 years of marriage, most of the time she's right. So with that being said, I just want to congratulate all the board members here and all of you for supporting this great group, raising money for our kids' baseball. Thank you for coming, and thank you, the old timers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of other elected officials we'd like to say hi to tonight. Will County Executive Larry Walsh. I saw Larry earlier this morning, or earlier and tonight. Let's give Larry a round of applause. Larry here somewhere. Thanks, Larry, for coming. Ray Solomon is the mayor of Crest Hill. He's here as well. There he is right down there in front. Thank you. And I saw Nancy Schultz-Boots right over there. Thanks, Nancy, for coming. And one other VIP introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Earl Weaver Fan Club is here tonight in attendance. The president of the Earl Weaver Fan Club is here tonight. Now, those of you that are young may not know who Earl Weaver is. Earl, one of the great, or in this guy's opinion, worst managers of all time. Back in the day, back when the Orioles were good, and then they got bad, now they're good again. But anyway, the president of his fan club is here. He was a 19-year American League umpire. He headed up the umpires in the American League. Mr. Bill Howard, where you at, Bill? Where you at? There he is. That's it. Young people, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. Just go to YouTube and type in Haller versus Weaver. You'll see what I'm talking about. Classic stuff. We don't have any personalities like that anymore in Major League Baseball or the umpires. Nice job, Bill. All right. Hey, before we move on, let's welcome back up Rita Matichak. She's got a little entertainment for us. Rita.
Thank you, Scott. There's going to be just a little bit of a change in the program, everybody. We always did My Buddy. And that was to remember all the wonderful people who have passed on. since the beginning of the Old Timers Baseball Association. So I talked to a couple of dear friends, and we decided we're going to remember them as past people, we're going to remember all the present people, and all the future members of this wonderful organization. So I'd like you all to join in singing with me, God Bless America, because that's what keeps us all here and takes good care of us, and we live in peace and harmony. So please join me with God Bless America, huh? Here we go. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you. God bless all of you.
Thank you, Rita. She'll be back up for our 7th inning stretch, so don't go away. We do, in all seriousness, want to have a moment of silence, as Rita mentioned, for past presidents Bob Irwin, Al Gregory, past Old Timers board member Bob Butel, and we'd be remiss if we did not include the late, great Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks. So, ladies and gentlemen, please bow your heads for a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Well, before we go any further, we'd like to bring up a gentleman that we heard a lot from last year. People still buzzing about this gentleman's appearance here at the Old Timers Banquet. Before we introduce Denny McLean, and Denny, I think you want to come up for a couple of minutes, if you would, please. We really appreciate it. I do want to let you folks know what he has going on in a couple of days from now. Denny has been invited to attend an event down in Florida. He is going into the Ted Williams Museum, which is basically the Ted Williams Hitting Hall of Fame. And when you think about the people that he will be inducted with this Saturday night down at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, it just takes your breath away. The Ted Williams Museum, class of 2015 Hitters Hall of Fame, Jim Thome, Tim Raines, the late Thurman Munson, and the pitching wall of great achievements include 16-time Gold Glove winner, 3-time All-Star, Jim Cott, and 2-time Cy Young Award winner, and the last 30-game winner, Mr. Denny McLean. Denny.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be back. Of course, it's nice for me to be anywhere. Last year you stood up and looked like a damn grand jury. This year at least you sat down. Boy, oh boy, I didn't know what was going to happen this year. Rita, yes. You can really sing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank God I wore a cup. One more high note, I would have never done anything again in my sex life. I have now lost 184 pounds since I was here last. How you laugh? What do you clap for? I've got cancer. I'm dying. I'm only kidding. Also, a couple of things I've noticed here tonight. Jim, you know, I guess the mayor thinks he's the mayor. I think this guy runs the town. We've had no less than 6 or 7 people come up here tonight with $50 and $100 bills. Can somebody please explain this to me? Isn't that right there, little boy?
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
You want to stand up and let everybody get a picture of you?
Oh, no.
You sure?
Yeah, no.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I'm hanging around with you. I'm not going to Florida. I've never seen so much money exchange hands over a bad piece of meat in my life. My meat was moving. How was yours? Listen, as you know, I was born and raised in Chicago. I moved to Markham, Illinois at the age of 7 or 8 and grew up there till I signed a contract with the Chicago White Sox. Of course, Al Lopez told me I'd never be in the big league, so he was right. And the bottom line is I'm the biggest Cub fan in the world. I mean, there isn't anybody that... I got to tell you, for 70, I've just turned 35 for the second time. And I'm telling you, for 70 years, we have pulled, we have prayed, we have done everything we can. And this year, and I heard somebody refer to it a few minutes ago, they called their minor league organization the best in baseball. What the hell is going on here? Because they bring a couple guys in from Boston. When they were given the club in Boston, they had Papa was already there, the catcher was already there. You had 4 All-Stars in the infield, for God's sakes, and they win a pennant and win a World Series. They should have shot him if they didn't. But I got news for you. These are still the Cubs. They would screw up a 1-car funeral. Jeez, I could not believe what I heard on the radio. I said, you mean to tell me you go from the worst organization in October, January, you're the best? What the hell did they do? But payoff's not bad. One of the other things, let me say one serious moment here. You guys, I was at the Pitch and Hit Club the other night, and it was a very nice affair. Terrific affair. And they gave out a lot of awards. The Jackie Robinson kids were there, the kids that almost won the Little League World Series. Great kids, by the way. I never worked I went to Mount Carmel High School, and I never worked so damn hard in my life trying to get 3 kids to sign a letter of intent the other night to go to Mount Carmel. And then as I'm going out, there's somebody from the school that they all went to and said, do you know what you just did is illegal? I said, what the hell did I do? Well, you can't solicit these kids to go to school. They're only in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I said, you think this is the first time I've cheated? Man, they don't get it. They don't get it. We do anything to win. Now, Tom Heller. Bill Heller, I mean. I got to tell you about a vote we took when he was umpiring in the American League in the 60s. Every year, the players take a vote as who the best umpires are in the league. Now, this is a process that goes on from spring training in February and March. Season starts April, May, June, July, and August. And they do these votes about every 30 to 45, 60 days. And 68 was no different year. 69 was no different year. And in 1968, and we should all give him a big hand, Tom Heller was voted the 2nd best umpire in the American League. Congratulations. Yep, all the rest finished tied for 1st. What do you call a good umpire? Go ahead, I'll let you guess. Rare. What do you call an umpire with an IQ greater than his shoe size? Gifted. There's 3 guys stuck in a room. There is a snake, a lion, and 3 guys, and one guy's got 2 bullets. What do you think they did? They shot the umpire twice. Now, one quick thing before I go, because I don't want to get in his way. He's working for Detroit now. You think so? You think you see some shit in the past? What do you get up there about? You're not going to believe it. Listen, we just traded away Pfister. We traded away Scherzer, and they're getting ready to get rid of another big guy. And you want to go work there, huh? You're coming in at a good time. All the stars are leaving, and he wants a job. I had an opportunity again today, like I did last year, to hang around with, as I call him, Stumpy Stimpy, Soupy. For those of you who do not know, he works in the coroner's office. I thought he was a stiff when I saw him today. First thing he does today, he meets us over at the hotel for breakfast. 11 o'clock. I mean, he's a city employee. He's not getting in before 11. And he brings 2 big boxes out of a bag. This big. I mean, huge boxes. And puts one on the table here, one on the table here, another on the table here. I said, what the hell are those? He says, those are for you. You're going to Florida tonight, right? I says, yeah, I'm not going to visit monkeys. What the hell is in here? And he said, no, there are peanuts here. They're chocolate clusters. You know, boy, we can eat those, can't we, big boy? You know. Thank God I don't have room in the car.
I'll try.
You're driving? I'm with you. And then the other box, I don't know what the hell he said it was. Condoms or something? What was it? I know on the side of the box it said 1943. No, he's never used them. He wouldn't know what end to blow. Super. You know, a guy's only got a 9-inch inseam. And his pants are 36 inches long. He walks on every part of his pants. That right, Snappy Snoopy? Anyway, let me end this. The bottom line to all of his kindness this morning was, he brought out, right, I don't know what the candy cost. He must have stolen it because it was so heavy, it had to weigh worth some money. So I count him again. I said, you sure? What the hell's in here? I said, what's in the bag there? He said, I just got a ball or 2 I need you to sign. I said, the bag is 6 feet tall. He had 33 balls in the bag. So we signed 33 balls. I signed your name 15 times. I signed the mayor's name. I signed Ernie Banks' name. I signed Gene Baker's name. I signed Mike Illich's name. Where do you see the balls? Anyway, listen, you guys have done a hell of a job here, and I just can't tell you how much fun I had last year. Today was just a great day with Jim, watching him take this money all night, and everybody else here. You guys have been so kind to us, and I look forward to maybe seeing you again next year, because we got to be somewhere to have dinner every night, right? Thank you very much. Good night. God bless you.
Good job. Great job.
Thank you, Denny. Scott Fletcher, good luck following that. I'd like to introduce the head table, if you will. First of all, the left side, starting at the end. Tom Hare is the chairman of the membership committee for the Old Timers Baseball Association. Hi, Tom. Rita Matichek, our soloist. Past President Jim Green, well, we have Denny McLean, who you just heard from. Past President Jim Greenan. We'll introduce Mr. Fletcher in a moment, and of course, retired Lockport High School baseball coach, Vice President of the Old Timers, Jimmy Hall. And down here to my right is Dick Goss, the sports editor of the Herald News, President of the Old Timers. Mr. Goss. Mayor of Joliet, Tom Giranti. Marty Turlip, Chairman of the Board for the Old Timers. All right, now without further ado, let's bring up Mr. Goss. We have some special presentations to give away tonight to some very special young athletes and coaches. Mr. Goss?
Thank you, Scott. Well, every year we give awards to, or we recognize the softball and baseball pitchers and players of the year in the Joliet area for the high school ranks, and we've got some great players this year to honor. I'm going to start with the softball pitcher of the year, Morgan Dieringer from Lincoln Way West. You guys know this game a little bit, softball. How these numbers sound? 21-2 record, 1.08 ERA. Opponents hit 123 against her. She holds most of the season and career pitching records at Lincoln Way West, and it's pretty obvious why. Now she is a freshman at University of St. Francis, where she's obviously just going to get that much better. So I want to bring up Morgan Derringer from Lincoln West. I believe she's here tonight. If Morgan is, oh, here she comes, yeah. Great job, Morgan.
Good evening, players, coaches, families, and the Old Timers Baseball Association. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to my parents. They have always encouraged me to do my best, both in the classroom and on the softball field. I remember the first time I actually snapped the ball. I was pitching to my dad in Lifetime Fitness, and I was standing a little too close and I almost knocked him over. I don't think I can ever thank them enough for all the little things they do, like drive me to practices and games and wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to take me to softball. I know my mom and stepdad probably slept more in the car on the weekends than they did in the hotels. I also thank them for the big things, like helping me decide which school to go to and which path to go down in my future. I also want to say thank you to the New Lenox Lightning Travel Softball Organization, Coach Abbott, and Coach Mack for all they have done for me. Another very special thank you is to my high school coaches, Coach Kunkel, Coach Novak, Coach Pods, and Coach Mandela. I look up to Coach Kunkel in many ways. She has always been there for me both on and off the field. She always made softball a lot of fun for us, especially on our overnight trips to Metamora, when she would even call at 1 a.m. to make sure we were asleep. Another person I really have to thank is Coach Pods. Coach has always been very dedicated towards pushing me and making me a good pitcher. I really can't thank him enough for the countless hours he has put into working with me, especially on making the rise ball my signature pitch. My high school coaches have believed in me from when I was a timid little freshman to where I am today, receiving this honorable award. This brings me to thanking the Old Timers Baseball Association for having me, my family, and my coaches here to accept this award. It is such an honor. I also want to thank my current coach, Coach Jensen, for recognizing the talent that I have and giving me the opportunity to play collegiate softball at the University of St. Francis here in Joliet. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. Great job. Now we move on to our Softball Player of the Year, and as often would happen in softball with a Player of the Year, it's somebody who is a combination hitter and pitcher. Our selection is Joy Treasure of Joliet West. She led the Tigers with a .508 batting average, .587 on base percentage, OPS, for those of you who like to get into such things, of more than 1,400. She had 16 doubles, 3 triples, 6 homers, 35 RBIs, struck out 6 times all season. And as a pitcher, she went 17-4 with a 2.22 ERA. She is currently playing at Illinois Central, in Central Illinois. I'd like to bring up her coach, Heather Suka, to say a few words. Heather here? Oh, there she is. Well, you should have grown a few inches. Heather would have seen you quicker.
I didn't tell him to say that.
I'm here on behalf of Joy. Her and her parents couldn't make it. She is playing in Florida right now, much warmer place. Along with all the stats that Goss just talked about, Joy was one of our 3 seniors that led our team to a regional championship, an 18-game win streak, and a conference championship, which hasn't happened since 2000. So Joy was a huge leader for our team on top of her stats, and she was a true testament of how hard work and dedication can pay off. If at the beginning of the season she wouldn't have been a player anybody would have picked to get this award, she set her mind to having a fantastic senior year, not for herself, but just as well for her teammates. She was a huge leader for our team, huge mentor for our younger players on the team. Really, really proud of her. Nobody else deserves this award more than she does. I wish she and her family were here to receive it tonight, but I am proud to be up here accepting it for her, and thank you to everyone here.
Thank you very much, Heather. Now we move on to the baseball pitcher and baseball player of the year. And if any of you guys attended, the state tournaments down at Silver Cross Field for Class 3A and 4A, you saw the next two individuals be at their absolute best. Our pitcher of the year pitched Lamont to this Class 3A state title. His name is Jake Latz. Left-hander who was the Prep Baseball Report Player of the Year. He was a Class 3A All-Stater. Not bad numbers. 10-0 with a 0.23 ERA and 1 save. I guess they needed him at the end of the game once, but he went almost the entire season without allowing an earned run. He was drafted in the 11th round by the Toronto Blue Jays, but decided that he would honor his commitment to LSU. He's now down at LSU, one of the best baseball schools in the country. Along with his catcher, Mike Papirski, the two of them are quite a battery tandem for Lamont. And I believe Jake's coach, Brian Staracco, is here. Brian? We'll hear a few words from Brian. Oh, I just got the word that the silent auction is closed in 1 minute. So whoever else wants to get out there, better get there.
Thanks, Dick, and the association. Jake did send me a speech for him to read on his behalf. So here goes nothing. I would like to thank the association for giving me this tremendous award. It truly is a great honor. Looking back on the year, I just want to thank everyone that made it a truly unforgettable season. Thank you to my teammates, coaches, friends, and family that helped me improve on my game every single day. It was truly a tremendous season being part of Lamont's first boys state championship in school history. So again, on Jake's behalf, we thank you to the association for giving him this great honor. Thank you.
All right, our fourth award, Baseball Player of the Year. And I had the opportunity last year to see quite a few of the Providence games as they made their run to the state championship in 4A. And this Player of the Year, Dylan Rosa, had one of the most unbelievable runs of big game-winning, game-tying hits that I've ever seen somebody have in games that were of that importance. It just seemed like Coach Hall could probably back me up on this. Every time they needed a big hit, there he was in the batter's box and he delivered it all the way through the playoffs. He finished the season as the Prep Baseball Report First Team All-Stater and the Illinois High School Baseball Coaches Association Class 4A All-Stater. He wound up hitting .413 with 11 homers, 14 doubles, 2 triples, and 55 RBIs, which any of you guys follow a high school season, that is a lot of runs batted in a high school season around here. He finished, as a pitcher, he finished 4-2 with a 2.42 ERA. He is playing ball at Kent State now, and I know I saw his coach here, Mark Smith. Mark, come on up.
Thanks, Dick. Before I start, Denny, I talked to Coach Hurry at Mount Carmel, and he wanted me to send a message that he wants you to send all players to Providence because Mount Carmel, he doesn't like it. Just let you know. Thank you, Denny. Appreciate it. We just got 4 new players. Anyway, Dylan sent me a message that he wanted to share with all of you. He had an outstanding postseason run, being a coach for 22 years now. Maybe the most memorable postseason run I've ever seen a player have, and is a big reason between him and Jake Godfrey, who's at LSU also, is why we won a state championship. But Dylan said that I would like to begin by saying thank you to the Will County Old Timers Association for this tremendous honor. I apologize for not being able to attend this evening, but I am preparing myself for my season at Kent State University. I am extremely appreciative of the award and very humbled to receive it. I would also like to thank Providence Catholic, my coaches, my teammates who supported me and helped me earn this award, and of course my family who were with me by my side every step of the way. I could not have received this award without any of them, and for that I am truly thankful. Once again, thank you to the Will County Old Timers Association for this honor. It is a season I will always remember, and go Celtics. Thank you.
All right, I know I said we had 4 awards, but we do want to recognize one other person here, a fellow who is here tonight. It's T.J. Condon from Joliet Junior College. He last year became the first Joliet Junior College catcher to win the American Baseball Coaches Association Rawlings Gold Glove for that position. He also was a first-team NJCAA Division III All-American. He hit .418 with 14 doubles, 7 triples, 3 homers, 43 RBIs, .660 slugging percentage, .471 on base percentage, and he had a .989 fielding percentage, 2 errors all season, catching most of the games. TJ, come on up and say a word or two. Let's recognize you. TJ does have another year to play for Wayne King and Greg Braun and those guys at Joliet Junior College. So I don't know what you do for an Iron Corps, TJ, but congratulations.
I just want to say thank you to my family and my coaches, Greg Braun and Wayne King. They've helped me tremendously as I came from high school to college ball, and I don't know where I would be without them.
Thanks, TJ. Appreciate it. Thanks, TJ. And thanks to Mr. Goss, and congratulations to all our recipients here tonight. We do have some youth baseball awards to give out. Dan Bertino is going to come up and make a brief presentation. So let's hear it for Dan Bertino, who's going to present some awards.
Thank you, Scott. Sure. I'm here tonight to present the Town and Country Lanes Award to the Team of the Year. This is what the organization is about, youth baseball. Before I present this award and have Clark come up, he's going to tell you about the team and the things that they've been doing over the years. So I wanted to thank, where's George? George Contos. There he is back there in Town and Country for once again donating this plaque. It's hard to believe I've been coming up here since 1999. It's been 16 years, and every year I go out to ask George if he'd like to help, and he's always give you anything you want. We all know that. So thanks again, Town and Country. Thank the members, everybody that belongs, the patrons, okay, and all the people at the banquet, all right? This is the money that we raise from these 3 items that we are able to give to the kids each year. Last year, if you noticed, we're up now to about $349,000. Who knows if what we give out is a lot or not? For what we pay in dues, the work we do. I know one day one guy said to me when I dropped a check off, we don't have very many people walking through the gate giving us $500. So I know that it's appreciated, okay? Now, on to the team. I'm basically going to let John tell you more about him because they're kind of doing some really special things now in youth baseball, I think. It's hard for me to follow it. There's not as much in the paper. If anybody has a team they're following, grandkid, kid, coaching, you think is worthy of this award, let us know at the end of the year because it's hard to keep up with everybody nowadays. There's so much going on. So with no further ado, I'd like to present this plaque to John. Town and Country Lanes Award for the Troy 11-year-olds. Very successful season, and I'm sure you'll find it interesting when he tells you what they're doing. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dan. Just a couple quick words. On behalf of the Troy Baseball Organization, we'd like to thank the Will County Old Timers Association for this honor. These kids, a group of 11-year-olds, all members of the Will County area, combined a record last year of 58-8-1, 7 championships. Finished the year as the USSSA #1 ranked team in Illinois, #2 ranked team in the Midwest, and the #22 team in the nation. These kids, there's an article in the booklet, play the game with respect. This is my 18th year coaching high school baseball, and I got it started from the man right here, Coach Hall. And they kind of play the game that he would want it taught, and it's an honor to see that. These kids, I will announce their names back there if you could stand up. Dylan Amico, Johnny Hernandez, Evan Griss, Cooper Harold, Cody Hooker, Camden Karcheski, Cole Patrick, Aiden Sheehan, Nick Smith, Chris Shellhorn, Clemente Torres. And they are managed by Mr. Tim Sheehan, Tad Hooker, Jeff Patrick, and Scott Amico. We'd like to thank the parents, the kids for all the hard work, and the coaches for the dedication. You don't really get much pay-wise for it. You don't get anything for it. You get the satisfaction of coaching these young men. On July 5th of this next year, they will be heading to Cooperstown, and at the 12-year-old level, that's probably the highlight of your career at that age, to go there and play. But I can promise you one thing, they ain't going just to play. They're going to bring home some hardware. Good luck next year, boys.
Good job, John.
Congratulations, Coach. All right, we are at the 7th inning stretch. And what happens during the 7th inning stretch? We're here to take me out to the ball game. Rita, can you help us out one more time, please, before we move on to prizes and our featured speaker for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Rita Matichak, one more time.
Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back, 'cause it's root for the If they don't win, it's a shame, 'cause it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Go!
Let's get some runs, right, Rita? All right. Okay, everybody, we're going to, before we bring up our featured speaker tonight, we have some prizes to give away. We have a 50-50 raffle that we're going to do. We're going to announce the winner of that here in a moment. But we do have some prizes. Mr. Goss, let's pull some tickets out here. We have a 25, and bear with us here, folks. We got a few things. $25 gift certificate to the Old Fashioned Pancake House. And if you're not here, we're still going to give this to you anyway. This one is not signed. Great. Oh, that's great. I think I know who that was. That must be at the, never mind. Jim, what do you say? Doozle? Jim Gessel. Jim Gessel, are you here? Jim, come on up. You have yourself a prize. Another $25 gift card to the Old Fashioned Pancake House. Tom Kennedy? Is that right? Tom Kennedy, come on down. Where's Tom? Tom, come on up and get your prize there as well. We do have some other prizes to give away. Dick, why don't you start pulling a couple of those, and we'll try to rattle these off as quickly as we can. We have some chocolate-covered peanuts. Rick Scheit. Rick, come on up. We have some those for you. Give me another one here, Dixie. Just come on up if you want. If not, we're taking them home. Dr. Bill Bevan. Dr. Bevan, come on up. We have more. Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate that.
All right.
Keep them coming.
Keep coming.
We have several more to give away. What do we have here? Scott Lukin. Scott Lukin. Come on down. You have something as well. There's Scott over there. Marty, give that one to Scott. He'll be coming down here. All right, let's do one more of these, and we're going to pop back into our little goodie bag over here. I get another one right over here. This winner is Jim Condon. Jimmy Condon, where are you at? There you go. Come on down. Scott's right there. Okay, we have a gift card to Jameson's Pub. All right, Jameson's Pub in Joliet. And the winner of that is Art Hartsook. Or Hartsook? Art? Bill, you're over here, Bill. Doc Bevan, we'll give that to you right there, buddy. We have Art Hartsook. Is Art here? Oh, there he is. Here, Art, I'll come right over here. That way you don't have to walk all the way over here. Let's take this one right here. There you go. Enjoy Jameson's. You bet. Congratulations on that. All right, let's do a Heroes West. Wow. Pretty generous, a $100 gift card from Joe Pecora. Thanks, Joe. And he's here, too. Is that Pete? Pete Geis, G-Y-S, Pete? Pete. Table, thank you, 55. Table 55. Where's table 55? This is $100 here, folks. Where's table 55? In the back? Well, if he's not here, just might have to keep that. We'll come back to that one here in a minute. All right, let's give away some more chocolate-covered stuff. Mr. Hall, what do we got here? Dick, we have table number 2, Tom. Boy? Table 2. Where's table 2? Tom, there we go. Tom, right over there. Why don't you run that right over there? All right, another chocolate-covered delectable, Jim Massey. Table number 4. Where's table number 4? Jim Massey, there's Jim right behind you there, Dixie. Give that away to him also. All right, another one of these. We've got about 4 or 5 more. Ken Farrell from table 13. Ken Farrell right here. There you go. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, let's give away a $20 gift card to Pop's Italian Beef and Sausage. Wouldn't be the South Side without some Italian beef and sausage. Steve Randich from First Community Bank. Why are you in the corner? Nobody puts Randich in a corner. Nobody. First Community Bank in the corner. We got to work on that for next year. We'll get you up here in the front, Steve. All right, another $20 to Pop's Italian Beef. This goes to Sue Bruston from table 28. Sue? Sue's over here, table 28, I believe, somewhere over there.
There she is.
There's Sue, right over there. Thanks, Tim, appreciate that. Let's give away another chocolate-covered something or other here.
There you go, Sue. Congratulations.
Terry Bergen from table 4. Right, table 4 is a lucky table here tonight. There you go, you take that. Tim, you got another Pops here? Or is there, I got it right up here, okay? Another Pops Italian Beef, Ernie Meyerich. Table 62, where's Ernie? You're back there, the First Community people, huh? All right, that's for Ernie. We'll give one more. Oh, that's another one. Sorry, Joe, keep trying to take that from you. Like, leave it alone. All right, another one here is Tim Sheehan, table 55. Tim Sheehan, where you at? $20 to Pops. Where's 55? There's Tim coming up there, Marty. He's coming up right over there. You want to give that to him? Thank you very much. And we'll come back to the Heroes West one. All right, another chocolate-covered morsel. We have Val Graben from table 15. Val, where's Val? Oh, sorry. That's for Val? Okay, another one. We only have 3 more of these here. We have Marty Bobin from table 20. Where you at, Marty? There you go, Marty. That's Marty. Marty? One Marty to another. Tony Zwerblus from table 13. There you go, Tony, right over here. Take it easy, honey. Share it with those guys. They're all dying for it. Dan, you want to run? That'll last you about 10 seconds with that group. One more. Clemente Torres, table 53. Coming on down, where? Okay, we'll leave that right here. Okay, we're still looking for table 4. Yeah, Clemente, I think you were one of the players. Why don't you come on up? Table 4, we were looking for Jim Gensel. Table 4, is Jim over there anywhere? Oh, he left?
We better give us one. Gotta give it away. Gotta be here to, gotta be here at 7.
13. Table,
That's Valgrave.
Valgrave. I think he's right over there.
Here comes Clemente Torres.
Clemente Torres is here. There you go, young man. Congratulations. Go share them with your friends. Lead them all. All right, 2 more, and then we will move on. We have Pizza for You, customer appreciation booklet to give away. All right, we'll do that to Bill Malinowski, table 30, and Jim Coates from table 62. Bill and Jim, come on up. We have a couple of nice gift cards here from Pizza for You. We appreciate them very, very much. We'll leave those right over there. Thanks, Jimmy. We appreciate that. All right, and we do have a 50-50. Are you ready for this?
What do you got here, Scott?
What'd you win? Bill Malinowski. Oh, Bill just won right over here. Bill won.
Oh, you got him over
Is that
there.
Malinowski there?
Yeah.
Yep. There's that.
There you go, Billy.
There you go. All right. Right there, Mr. Goss, we have a 50-50. How much do we have for the winner? Again, this is a must-take. Somebody asked me what that meant earlier. Wow. Somebody asked me what that means. That means you don't feel guilty about not saying give it back to the organization. This is yours to keep. And it's $1,060. That got your attention, didn't it? So much for those chocolate-covered morsels, right? Now we get to the good stuff. All right, get your tickets out. You have to be present to win, too. You know, if you're in the bar drinking and you missed this, too damn bad. All right? No, I'm not going to draw. I'm not going to get yelled at. Look at Denny. Put Denny to work. He gets yelled at all the time anyway. Hold on, Dixie. You dropped the one. You dropped the one. Hold on. Let me throw that in there. $1,060. It's a Denny McLean.
So I guess it's over.
Was it really? Oh, thank God. That would have been awkward. The number to win $1,060 is 250. Did everybody have 250? So that really doesn't matter much, does it? Anybody not have 250? Oh, yeah, we did. All right, 2509. 8. 9. 5. 25009-895 worth $1,060. I have not heard a scream. I see a little kid jumping up and down, but I don't think he won anything. I just think he has to go to the bathroom probably, right? We have a winner? Oh, this is good. $2,005,985. Would you like a security officer to escort you out tonight? You want me to hang on to this?
Hang around Denny.
Denny's going to do it. What's your name? Gary Hyde. Ladies, Heidi. Gary Heidi. Let's hear it for him. $1,060 richer. That's a good night's work. That's more than we paid you, right, Mr. Fletcher? Damn. Let's get into 50-50 next time. All right, we do have, we're good. We'll give that away at the very end. Yeah. Since our heroes, I don't think our heroes winner came up, did they? Yes. Oh, they did. We still have a couple more. We'll give those away at the end. Let's get to our featured speaker. I'm not going to spend a long time introducing this gentleman. You can read all about him in our program here tonight. But we have had a long and illustrious list of speakers here at the Old Timers Baseball Association. Folks, there aren't many organizations like this left in the state of Illinois or around the country. So we greatly appreciate these guys who are very busy nowadays to do things like this. But just over the last 3 years, Ken Harrelson, Bill Buckner, Tommy John, Bill Golickson, Jesse Barfield, the great Denny McLean. This year, I am so proud to welcome one of my favorite players when I was growing up. Actually, I was a little bit older at the time. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Scott Fletcher to Joliet. Enjoy. Have fun.
Sure. Thank you, Scott. Boy, they're keeping you busy up there, man. Awards, everything, prizes going everywhere around here. But hey, it's great to be here. Great to be here. And Denny never cheated. Man, he never used any foreign substance. Everything he used was from the good old USA. And Bill, hey, I never questioned an umpire's integrity, Bill. Now the eyesight, yeah, I never, but not the integrity. But no, great to be here. I told, got here last night, was here all day, and had a few hours here, so people try to get me out here to golf in this cold weather. I'm like, golf? Hey, when I hit a ball, I want somebody else to chase it. You know what I mean? But good to be here. Good to be here, and had a chance to meet some of the old timers here and go out to dinner last night. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, and I told him, I said, hey, I'll keep this brief no matter how long it takes. But had a chance to meet a lot of guys and make up this association, and heard some funny stories out there, and it was a lot of fun. One of them I heard, I got Marty Turlip here, the chairman that runs everything here, and Kathy Lawrence, and the secretary and stuff, and heard a story. Said one of the people called into the office, and he said, I want to speak to the top hog of the trough. And Kathy says, well, that's Marty Turlip. That'll be him. I said, I want to speak to the top hog of the trough. And she said, well, sir, you're going to have to call him Mr. Turlip. You can't call him the top hog of the trough. And he said, oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to donate $10,000 to your organization. Heard you did a lot of good things and for the youth programs and everything. And she says, oh, excuse me a second. I think Porky just walked in. Oh. But hey, it's good to be here, and I always love coming back here to Chicago. I spend a lot of time here, and always have a lot of fun coming back and getting around a lot of people that I know, and the city itself, and it's familiar stomping grounds. Playing on both teams, the Cubs and White Sox. It's a lot of fun, and I basically just want to be here and tell you my story a little bit. A lot of people really don't know everything about me growing up, and just kind of wanted to go through the process and let you know, hey, I grew up in, like I've been telling a lot of these people here, grew up in Wadsworth, Ohio, about 40 miles south of Cleveland. Sports was always a big part of my life, a part of my family's life. My dad played professional baseball for about 8 years, so baseball was always big. When I was in high school, I wanted to be all state in all 3 sports. All right, I played all 3. I played tailback in football. Coaches always tell me to get my tailback on the bench. Played basketball. Played baseball, and I wrestled a little bit too. I wrestled math, science, English. I wrestled a little bit in school, but my senior year, I wanted to be all state in everything. I wanted to be all state in everything. And so the first game of the football season, I'm running the football and got hit, strained some ligaments on the inside of my knee. First game of the season, had to put my leg in a cast for about six weeks. I was fortunate though. I didn't have to have surgery or anything. And back then, if you had surgery, all the scouts, they backed away from you. Back what they used to use hammer and chisel on your knee back in the day. But had my leg in a cast for 6 weeks. And so there went my football season. So I said, all right, that's okay. I'll just get ready for basketball. Well, after the 6 weeks was up, got my leg out of the cast. Man, my leg had atrophied, man. I didn't know what atrophy was until I got my leg out of the cast there. And doctor told me, hey, stay on crutches until you get that thing strong again. I was like, yeah, right. So I was throwing football with a player in about the 8th game of the season. It happened in the first game, 6 weeks in the cast. About the 8th game of the season, playing catch with the football. Slipped and fell. Heard something pop in my knee. The tendon had pulled the bone right off my kneecap. Had to have surgery. Had to have my leg in a cast for another 6 weeks. So there went my basketball season. And I didn't know if I'd be ready for the sport that I love most, which was baseball, and I wanted to get drafted and things, you know. So my senior year really wasn't going the way that I'd planned. And my dad was tough. My dad was tough. I didn't even know what an Advil was until I got to AA ball. You know, I grew up, hey, if you could walk on the field, you played. And I can remember getting my leg out of that cast after another 6 weeks, so 3 months my leg had been in the cast. Man, that leg was so small, and had it out, and it had been in that position for all that time, and I had to stretch it again to try and get those ligaments loosened up. And my dad would see me limping a little bit. He'd be like, now does it really hurt that bad? You have to limp. I had my leg in a cast for 3 months. But you know what? What goes around comes around. He's 83 right now. He just had double knee replacements. That's right. I saw him limping. I got him back, man. Hey, does it really hurt that bad? You gotta be limping. He's like, oh yeah, you get me back, ain't you? I said, that's right. Hey, what goes around comes around. But I did get drafted that year. I did get drafted, but I chose to go on to college, and actually went up to the University of Toledo my freshman year. Went down south to Orlando, Florida, my sophomore year. Was drafted a couple times out of there, and then went on up to Georgia Southern College, now Georgia Southern University. Got drafted out of there, and my junior year. So I was drafted 4 times through the process before I signed. I actually, after about 20 years of playing in professional baseball, I went back and got my degree at Georgia State. You know, so I was all over the place, you know. I always tell people, hey, it only took me 4 terms to get my degree. You know, I don't tell them it was the Carter, Reagan, Bush, and Clinton terms, you know. But when I got done, you know, I signed, I went into professional baseball, and my first manager in pro baseball was old school, hard-nosed baseball man, 100% baseball guy. And you know, Denny can tell you back in the day, those guys were hard, they were tough. I can remember the first meeting we had, we were all ready to play professional baseball. He gets in there and he says, boys, you know, his lip would always curl up when he started talking. He says, boys, it might have been a game when you were in high school. It might have been a game when you're in college. It ain't a game anymore, gentlemen. It's war. And you're like, whoa, man. But that's what it was. It was like he didn't want you talking to the other team, no fraternizing, nothing. You know, and he was tough. He was tough. And, you know, that's the way it was back then. You didn't talk now, it's like a family reunion out there, you know what I mean? Everybody's saying hello to everybody. And, so I went through the minor leagues, went through pretty quick. Played a half a season of A-ball, went to AA for a full season. Then 10 days of AAA, I was up in the big leagues. Up in the big leagues. And you know, I wear my age pretty well. I was 22 when I got to the big leagues, but I looked like I was still about 12, you know. So we get there, you know, in Wrigley Field, you know, with the Cubbies, you know, that's what I went up through the organization with. You know, you had played all those day games, right? So the young guys had to get there real early. You know, the old veterans like Billy Buckner and, you know, those guys, they didn't have to come until their batting group was hitting late, so they got to sleep in a little bit longer. But you know, we're there at the crack of dawn. So I'm there early. I'm doing some stuff around the visitors' dugout there. I don't know, picking up balls, running around there or something. And Jim Cott's there. And I'm like, man, Jim Cott, he got about 20-some years in the big leagues. And he's standing there and he says, hey, go get me some baseballs. I was like, yes, sir. So I go running and I go get him some baseballs. I bring it back to him. We finish our, pregame work, batting practice and everything. And I'm playing that day. And game starts and everything. Jim he's out in the dugout, and he thought I was the ball boy. He sees me playing out there, and he goes, "Hey, the ball boy's playing shortstop." You know? So I tried that back in the day too, and later in my career I said, "Hey, can you go get me some baseballs?" He said, "Screw you, Fletcher, why don't you retire and give a young guy a chance?" I said, "Man, times have changed," you know what I mean? But speaking of time, one time we were in New York, and we had a young kid that he just got up from the minor leagues, all excited about being in the big leagues, and had a man on second base, hit her up at the plate, and base hit into left field. Winfield comes up, guy's coming around second trying to score, he just throws a P-rod, one hop, boom, runner out. One of our coaches looks at the kid on the bench and said, "You see that throw, kid? You'll never see another throw like that in a million years." Kid, what just so happened later in the game we had the same situation. Man on second, man at the plate, base hit into left field. Guy comes around second base, Winfield scoops it up, whew, another P-rod to home plate, one hop, boom, he's out. Kid was like, looks at the coach and he goes, "Wow, time sure flies back up here in the big leagues." But you know, thinking about the Cubs, you know, there's a lot of good players there. You know, a lot of good players that I had, a lot of good friends. You guys remember Jody Davis, right? Jody Davis had a great arm when he came up, young catcher, loved to compete. Great arm, great catcher. Well, we're playing there, and we're playing Montreal one day. Well, Tim Raines is playing for Montreal. You know, Tim Raines got about 1,000 stolen bases that year. You know how Tim eats stealing all the time. One of the great base stealers of all time. Well, he gets on first base, and Jody's behind the plate. Gets behind the plate, first pitch to him, boom. Tim's still at first, throws the ball back. Second pitch, boom. Tim's still at first base, throws the ball back. Next pitch, boom. Tim's still at first base, throws the ball back. Jody proceeds to walk out to the mound. He walks out to the mound, turns to first base, and he says, "Look, you're supposed to be able to run, let's get it on." He walks back to the behind the plate. Well, next pitch, boom, pitch. Raines takes off. Jody, great throw to second base. It's a bang bang play, and Tim's safe. Tim gets up, dusting his pants off, staring down Jody at the plate. At the end of the inning, we get out of the inning, get back to the dugout. Jody's all humbled now. He sits back on the bench and folds his arm, and he goes, "He didn't still that good to be staring at me like that." You know, you can tell after I went with the Cubs, you know, I was back here at, got traded to the White Sox, if y'all remember that. Had a lot of great years there. From there, went on to Texas. From Texas back to the White Sox. Some Texas fans over here, all right. And then Milwaukee, Boston, and finished out up in Detroit. And so 15 years at the major league level. It was a lot of fun. Had a lot of good times. Enjoyed going, you know, here in Chicago, down in Texas. You know, in Texas, I was actually the first $1 million athlete of the Dallas Metroplex area. You know, I actually got my credit card stolen down there too, but I didn't report it because the guy that stole it was spending less than my wife. But anyway, that 1983 season, we had a lot of fun. It was one of my most memorable years. Of course, we made the playoffs that year. It was one game from going to the World Series. We had, it was amazing. We had in the second half of the season, our starting pitchers of Lamar Hoyt, Richard Dotson, and Floyd Bannister were 42-5. 42-5. We were like 59-26 the second half of the season. It was just an incredible year. A lot of fun. A lot of great players. I mean, we had Julio Cruz. What a dandy he was. Julio would he had more bats than anybody. See, every time Julio would get a hit with a particular bat, he'd go order a dozen of them right away after the game. But then by the time he'd get his bat order, all right, he was using another bat, because every time he didn't get a hit, he'd use somebody else's bat. And then if he had a good night with that bat, he'd go into the dugout and he'd order another dozen. So he had bats taken over the locker room, and finally he said, Julio, you can't order any more bats. All right? We had Rudy Law that year, had 77 stolen bases, something like that. I remember one time Rudy came in after a day game, after a night game. He was so tired, he just was chugging coffee all morning. You know, and he had that batting stance where his toe was kind of up in the air when he was in the box. And when he was in the box his first time up, he kept shaking. His foot was going up and down like that. He was shaking like that. He made it out. He come back to the dugout. He goes, man, I think that pitcher thought I was afraid of him because I couldn't stop my foot from shaking up there at the plate. But I can still remember Lamar Hoyt, too. You know, remember Lamar? I was telling these guys last night that we were just trying to get back to the one game against Baltimore. If we could have got to Lamar, we really felt we could have got to the World Series, because he was 24-10 that year, won the Cy Young, and he just beat him the first game. And I was telling these guys last night, I can still see Lamar Hoyt sitting in his chair after he beat him the first game. He pulls his cap down right below his eyes all the time, and he says, you know, Eddie Murray was the guy, their Hall of Fame hitter there, and he says, I know what Eddie Murray's looking for every time he gets in the box. Well, he gets in the box and I see that he's looking fastball, I throw him the curveball. Every time I see he's looking curveball, I throw him the fastball. He goes, I can tell what he's looking for every time, and I just throw him the opposite, you know. But that's Lamar, you know, that's Lamar. But we had a great bunch of guys. And, you know, I had a chance to play for a lot of different managers, a lot of World Series managers. Played for Sparky Anderson, played for Bobby Valentine, Phil Garner. Got a chance to play for Jimmy Leland. Jimmy Leland was naturally one of our coaches with the White Sox in '83. And of course, manager Tony La Russa. And so I had a chance to play for a lot of good managers. And you know, when I was with the White Sox, you know, managers are always afraid of somebody picking up their signs, you know what I mean? I mean, you're going to always see them at the dugout, you know, they're up against the dugout, you know, trying to give all their signs, you know, they might be in a bathroom with a mirror, you know, trying to get their signs, you know. Don't want anybody to catch their signs. Well, our sign when I was with the White Sox with Tony La Russa, it wasn't just the sign with the third base coach with Leland in third, it was our trainer standing over by the water fountain in the dugout. That was the steal sign. So you'd be on first base and you'd be like, you know, Herm Schneider, our trainer, you know, it'd be if Tony wanted to put on the steal, he'd say, Herm, get down there, get down there, get down there in the water fountain. And so you'd be on first looking for Herm to get down in the water fountain. So he'd be working toward that water fountain and be like, is he getting there yet? Is he, okay, no, oh, there, okay, it's a steal sign. But that was a steal sign, right? And Tony told me later on that when he was, I heard him say when he was at Oakland with Ricky Henderson, you know, you had your coaches that like to, your managers that like to control everything, and then you had your other managers that let you play. And when I was in Boston and stuff, Butch Hobson would say, hey, you got a bag? Take it. You know, you go play. Phil Garner was that way. You got a bag? Take it. But Tony liked to control the game a little bit. So when he was over in Oakland, he had Ricky Henderson, greatest base stealer of all time, right? Well, actually, he told Ricky this one time, he gave Ricky the takeoff. He goes, give you the takeoff. Ricky went next pitch. Stole second, base hit, comes around the home plate, and Tony says, hey, you see that? I gave you the takeoff. gave you the takeoff. He goes, I know, so I took off. But you know, we had you know, a lot of great managers played for, a lot of great players. You know, Carlton Fisk, Greg Luzinski, Paul Molitor, Robin Young. I had a chance to play with a lot of different guys. And there's a lot of things that can happen, you know, on the field a lot, with a lot of players. Actually, one time I played with a friend of mine, Donnie Slott. Actually, I've done business with him and stuff. And Donnie played 16 years in the major leagues with the Pittsburgh Pirates, with me in Texas. And Donnie was a very, very good catcher. And I can remember one day in Texas, we were playing the Yankees. He happened to be playing with the Yankees at the time. And I was tearing them up, right? I was just base hits all over the place. They used to call me the Yankee killer. I was getting all kinds of hits. Well, I get into the box this one time, and Donnie decides, when I got in, I was getting ready to hit, all of a sudden I heard fastball. I was like, what are you doing? He's back there smiling at me, you know. He's giving me the pitches. So I get in the box again, he goes, fastball. Well, now I'm starting to doubt, you know, whether he's telling me the pitches, and I'm starting to doubt, do I trust him or not? You know, is he just telling me fastball, curveball, whatever, you know? So he proceeds to get me out a couple times. So he feels this is working pretty good. Well, Rafael Palmeiro happens to come up, and Rafi was happened to be tearing him up that night too. And so he's going to try it out on Rafi. Rafi gets in there, he goes, change up. Rafi proceeds to smoke it out of the park. All right, coming around home plate, he's jogging around the bases, comes around to home plate, steps on home plate, turns it on and says, thank you. and he takes off back to the dugout. Oh, he didn't try that anymore. But I got, you know, after I got done playing, you know, I got a chance to go home and raise my children for a while. I got back into coaching for a couple of years, and then went back home for about 12 years, raised my kids, wanted them to get back, you know, have a stable upbringing. And so I went back home, raised my kids, and actually, as many of you guys know, I got 2 beautiful daughters, 1 great son, and as you know, that one of my daughters is married to Gordon Beckham, and he just signed back here with the White Sox. And that whole deal was wild because, you know, I'm like, okay, you're marrying who? He plays with the White Sox? He plays second base? And he looks like me? Now, what are the chances of that? I said, God sure has a good sense of humor. But I know Gordon, he's going to do a great job this year, and he's going to have a great season for the White Sox. But and then also my son happens to be, he plays in the Kansas City Royal organization, plays AAA with the Kansas City Royals, and hopefully soon he'll get an opportunity. He's a good player. And then my youngest daughter, Brooke, she happens to work at the SEC Network with ESPN, and she actually, we're very proud of her, she actually won the Miss Georgia USA, and she's going to represent the state of Georgia in the Miss USA pageant this coming year. I know what you're thinking, you see his face, right? Yeah, she looks like her mama, trust me. But, so then after I got back into coaching for a little bit, and the last 3 years I was with the Colorado Rapids, happened to get back in with the Atlanta Braves, and been with them the last 3 years. And we did a lot of good things there in Atlanta. You know, we were in the playoffs the first 2 years. This last year we were in first place up until August, and then had a little rough time, ended up tying for second place, but had some good years. Coaching, I know we have a lot of coaches in here, you know, this thing going on. I know we've got a lot of coaches, a lot of people have played an important part in a lot of people getting to where they need to be. And coaching is a big part of it. And when I was with Atlanta, I think some of the biggest things that you can do and experience in coaching is the relationships that you have with the players. You know, when they're having rough times and things like that. We were actually, when in Atlanta, some great kids there, you know, with, we had a pitcher there. I won't really tell you his name, but he's having a rough time. He couldn't get out of the first inning. I mean, he's a good pitcher, but it just happened every first inning, you know, and, you know, base hits, down 2-3 runs, guys hitting rockets off of him, couldn't get out of the first inning. Couldn't get out of the first inning, so over and over and over again, so finally he comes back to the bench one day, and I think I'm going to try and loosen him up a little bit, you know. He sits down next to me, and I said, hey, you're tipping your pitches. I can see you're tipping your pitches. He looks at me like, oh yeah, what am I doing? I said, hey, you can pick it up easy, especially in your warm-ups. Every time you do this with your glove, you throw a fastball, and every time you do that with your glove, you throw a curveball. Okay, I'll say it again. If you do that with your glove, you throw a fastball. Do that with your glove, you throw a curveball. Okay, you do that all the time in your warm-ups. Okay, but our catcher, he was a little bit more deliberate, right? He comes up to him and says, hey, I got it. You lose it at the same point in every game. He goes, oh yeah, when? He goes, right after the national anthem. But like I said, you know, a little bit on the serious note here, I think that, you know, all of us here, you know, play a big part in helping kids achieve their dreams. You know, some of the high school kids here, the awards and things, some great players, some great kids on their way. And, you know, a lot of people here play a big part in the kids' lives. I know in my life growing up, a lot of people played a big part in me getting to where I wanted to be, trying to achieve my dream. And that's where a lot of the young people are here, and this is where a lot of you people can play a part as well. You know, it's kind of like, I remember a quote by Red Grange, Galvin Ghost, played here for the Bears in Illinois and stuff. You know, he said, you know, the next best thing to playing football is coaching it. You know, you can take some of the things and give to kids and take some of the things that you learn about the game along the way and teach them to other people, and that's a big part. You know, I know the evangelist Billy Graham said a coach has a chance to impact a kid's life. He has a chance to impact more kids' lives in 1 year than a lot of people can in a lifetime. So you can't take that stuff for granted. You play a big part in their lives. And as we look back, we can tell that whatever we've achieved, like I said, I know in myself or wherever you're at, somebody has played an important part of getting you where you want to go, whether it be God. I know there was a lot of things he taught me. I wouldn't have played as much years in the big leagues had I been things that I learned from God. My family, my friends, the community, coaches, and the sport itself. And what I want to leave with a lot of you guys tonight is to continue to keep the passion and the fire burning inside of you to help kids get along the way. Don't ever take for granted the things that you're doing and telling them to help them get to where they want to go. There's a lot of satisfaction when you just thinking that I may have helped a kid just a little bit along the way to help him to have some success. You know, I remember a guy I had a chance to coach over in Colorado. You guys probably know him, will probably watch him play this Sunday. His name is Russell Wilson, quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. He was drafted in the 4th round by Colorado. So I had a chance to coach him. Well, watching Russell go about his work, it didn't take long to know who the leader was out on the field. When you were sitting there talking about something, Russell was right in the front. He was right up in front, looking you straight in the eye. When he went out to do his work, he was busting his tail doing his work. It didn't take long to see who was the leader out there. I can still remember the conversation we had up in Asheville, North Carolina. He was like, Fletch, this is before he was trying to decide to go play his last year of college football, where he wanted to go. You know, the coach at North Carolina State, they didn't want him to come back because they didn't know if they'd get another recruit to come in and go to North Carolina State if he came back. So he was trying to decide whether he wanted to go back and play his last year of college football or play baseball. And he says, Fletch, they're telling me if I go back and play football, I can't come back here and play baseball. He goes, I don't know what to do. I said, well, I think, he goes, what should I do? I said, well, I think us having this conversation is telling us what you should do. I said, if you're not 100% committed to playing baseball, that's what it's going to take to get to the major leagues. Us having this conversation, I can tell that you want to go back and play football. Go back and play football and get it out of your system. And you can tell it's still in his system, I imagine.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But you know, when he was going against last Sunday against the Packers, you see that 2-point conversion. When he was running this way and threw all the way across his body for the 2-point conversion, all the way across the field, I thought to myself when I saw him do that, I said, Russell, I saw you do that many times. I remember taking a bucket of balls out on the infield grass with in the infield with my infielders, rolling them. We always worked on backhand flips to first base. We did it over and over and over and over and over and over again. So when Russell was running that way and had guys chasing him and he came back and threw the ball all the way across the field, I was like, Russell, I saw you do that many, many times. You worked on it an awful lot. And so you think, did that little bit of work just play a little bit into his success? And so it brings a lot of satisfaction to know that you might have helped some kid achieve his dream and to continue to have success along the way. So keep that fire burning, keep that passion burning, all right? All right, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. One more round of applause for Scott Fletcher. Well, I bet on New England, so if I lose money this week, Scott, it's partly your fault. So thanks a lot. All right. Before we let you go, I want to thank everyone real quick. I know the Old Timers, this is a big fundraising thing. And, you know, we were talking earlier, if you look in the book about all the money that has gone to youth baseball organizations, it's amazing. I was on the board in Shanahan for several years, and whenever we got that check for $500, Dick and Marty, was a huge thing. So thank you. Please keep giving to youth baseball organizations. They all greatly appreciate it. They may not all say thank you as much as they should, but they really appreciate it. The only reason Old Timers are able to give is because of this banquet here tonight. So thank you. A couple of other folks I'd like to welcome here tonight. Mike Kelly, our new sheriff, is here. Thanks for coming, Mike. And Pat O'Neill, our county coroner, is here as well. On behalf of the Old Timers, Scott Fletcher, Denny McLean, I'm Scott Slocum. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next year.